I'm Bella.
I'm Nigel Steiger.
And I'm Morgan Amber.
And this presentation will be about the recent and controversial legalization of marijuana. So, marijuana, also known as cannabis, is a psychoactive drug that is used for medical and recreational uses.
So our research question is, how is the recent legalization of marijuana more beneficial for the country, economically, medically, and in terms of consumer health compared to other substances?
All of our evidence takes place in the U.S., where the current issue of the legalization of marijuana is taking place. Even though some states in the U.S. have legalized the recreational and medical use of marijuana today, a lot of states have not. Some states today that have legalized marijuana are Washington, California, Oregon, Nevada, Alaska, and many more.
So our three topics are medical, economic, and comparing it to other substances.
Okay. So the medical aspects of marijuana is that it has been legalized in 29 states. And the target for the legalization of marijuana is for epileptic patients and then patients who are suffering chronic pain. And so from there, the goal is to have an option for patients to self-medicate or people to self-medicate through trial and error and not face any repercussions such as being criminalized for obtaining marijuana or for the consumption of it. And then a doctor in a legalized state often should be open-minded because they're the ones who ultimately suggest to patients that they need to use it, or a patient and a doctor are able to be open with each other and talk about it. But then in states where marijuana is illegal, doctors do not have the knowledge and do not have the ability to suggest it, and this creates a disadvantage for people in anti-weed states because they do not have the option and they can't use it to benefit them.
Okay, the economic effects of marijuana. According to an article by Forbes in 2017, marijuana reached the sales of $1.5 billion, which is a substantial amount, regarding to that there's a 15 to 20% tax for all marijuana in the states that it is legal. Also in 2017, there was a decrease of jobs in the U.S., but because of the recreational and medical use of marijuana becoming legal the next year, there was an influx of jobs and an increase of jobs that year. Lastly, in a recent town hall meeting with the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel said, Illinois legislators will be taking a serious look next year at legalizing recreational marijuana, and later said the same speech to the city council that they should follow that course. A portion of the revenue should go towards strengthening our pension funds and securing the retirement of the workers who depend on them. Not only did he bring attention to the idea of the legalization of marijuana, but he's also showing one of the positive benefits that legalization of marijuana can bring.
So I compared alcohol, opioids, and nicotine to marijuana. And so the first substance I looked at was alcohol, and I found that regular consumption of alcohol can elevate blood pressure, and severe alcohol abuse can lead to extreme damage to the liver and pancreas and can actually be fatal. And alcohol can also cause cancer of the esophagus, liver, colon, head, neck, and breast. And then the other substance I looked at was nicotine. And nicotine is a highly addictive chemical and is widely abused around the world. And smoking can aggravate asthma and cause swelling of the airway, and it can also cause coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. And you are 25 to 26 times more likely to get lung disease and 2 to 4 times more likely to get heart disease from tobacco than marijuana. And then the last substances I looked at were opioids. And I found that in 2015, there were 6,784 cocaine overdoses and 12,989 heroin overdoses, and there were no overdoses from marijuana. And comparing these to marijuana, you can see that some of the most extreme results from marijuana are just short-term memory, anxiety, panic, and potential to lead to more severe drug use. But all these other substances also have the potential to progress to other harder drug abuse. So, yeah.
Okay, so our combined solution is to inform others, and so an example of that is that the DEA had considered marijuana to be a Schedule I drug, which went against a lot of other drugs like heroin and cocaine, and so once that was denounced, that's a way of informing others and to start from there.
And how we all connected our idea to make it so informing others about the effects of marijuana is the most reasonable way, and also a way that everyone who wants to can learn about the effects of marijuana. Our three sub-solutions are informing people of the medical and recreational benefits and detriments of marijuana, informing local governments and cities of the economic benefits and detriments of marijuana, and informing people about the comparison of marijuana compared to other substances.
So, through informing others, doctors can have more of a strict knowledge of marijuana and its uses, and they can be able to suggest it to patients, and then it opens up the previous opinions on marijuana that were subsided to its negative presumptions, and then also when patients are told of the high THC concentrations, then they can know the risks and the way that they need to restrict their use of it. Sorry.
Like I said earlier, the mayor of Chicago brought the attention to marijuana by talking to the city hall meeting where it was open to the public. This would be a good way to talk about the economic effects of marijuana, where they could propose the legalization of marijuana. Informing others of the economic benefits through formal meetings, if it is through a seminar or, in this case, a city hall, is a great way to bring attention to the subject of the economic benefits and what it could do to the overall economy of the U.S. But also, voting in propositions has a big toll in whether it is legal or not. Like in California, in 2016, Proposition 64 brought the legalization of marijuana, or the recreational and medical legalization in marijuana, which made the marijuana legal in the beginning of 2017.
So from my perspective, what I wanted to make sure that, for informing people, was that that consumers were aware of its health benefits. So marijuana is known to help with insomnia, help cancer patients sleep better, is extremely successful in relieving nausea, especially for cancer patients who went through chemo, and it helps with loss of appetite, muscle tension, and chronic pain. So it's important that that people are informed that it can offer a safer alternative treatment for medical patients around the world. And a big misconception about marijuana is that it's very addictive, but caffeine is scientifically proven to be more addictive, just to compare it to a normal day substance. And also, people think that just marijuana will lead to harder drug use, but other substances are just as likely, if not more likely, to lead to progressive abuse. And it is impossible for too much marijuana to damage organs, and the lethal dosage is approximately 1,260 milligrams of medication per body weight of the person, and that's of pure THC, which is comparable to the lethal dosage of sugar, which is actually less than that, at 1,100 milligrams per kilograms.
Okay, so the implications are that with the legalization, or with the informing others, then the legalization of marijuana can become more national, and so rather than 29 states, other states will demand for the legalization, and hopefully change can occur. But along with that, there will probably be restrictions on concentrations, and there will be concentrations of THC, and there will be more information regarding safe marijuana usage and how it is a non-addictive option for doctors and patients to experience. And from there, there's the possibility that other countries can look at the United States, and they can see that the legalization of marijuana becomes more of a norm, and from there it can be legalized internationally.
Thank you.
Alright, this one's for you, Joe. What is a way in which your team's resolution or solution makes you think differently about your own individual research?
On my individual research, it was more about the economic and what, like, as a state, as like a smaller state, what can do to legalize marijuana. But as we looked at it as a big picture, we kind of concluded that informing others about more topics and more things, or more perspectives other than the economic effects. Like what Bella said, hers was telling and talking to doctors, and then Morgan informed people about the other drugs and substances that are more addictive than marijuana. So basically just what kind of changed was just to see the overall picture, and that there's more than one side to the legalization of marijuana instead of just the economic effects of marijuana.
Morgan, having finished your project, what, if anything, do you consider to be a gap in your team's research that if you could do it again, you'd address?
Well, I think we all focus a lot on obviously the positive outcomes of the legalization of marijuana, and I don't think that, or for me personally, I would say that I didn't research the negative effects as much, and I think it's still important to inform the people. Like, if you're informing them of what the positive effects are, you have to also inform them of what the negative effects are, just as doctors would. And so I think that to introduce that other side to our research would be a good addition.
And Bella, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
I think that my improvement in working with a group was through communication, and so communicating with our group and figuring out what topic we were going to do kind of taught me how to collaborate better with people, because we had a lot of clashing between other topics, and then once we decided on this topic, then we were deciding our subcategories and what we would all work on. And so I think that just finding a compromise and ultimately not really caring about the topic, but caring about the work that went into it.
Very nice, thank you all.